This Tarantella is an incredibly fun intermediate piece that will help you prepare for more advanced romantic repertoire. You'll improve your technique and your musicality if you study it. I've taught this Tarantella a lot over the years because students always enjoy it. It sounds impressive and a lot more difficult than it is. In this video, I'll show you how to get started with this piece and how to practice it so that you can play it evenly, clean, and fast. I'll show you how to make it exciting and expressive. We'll talk about rhythm, articulation, pedaling, and dynamics. This Tarantella is in Applause Book 1 by Lynn Freeman Olson. I love this book. It's got fantastic pieces from all the time periods, and I like the editing in it. So I like the pedaling and the fingering, the dynamics, suggestions. And I think it's a book every pianist should own. So I'm going to link this in the description if you'd like to buy it. And I'm going to be teaching most, if not all, of the pieces in this book in a series on this channel. So make sure you hit the subscribe button and turn on your notifications so you don't miss a lesson. Let's quickly talk about the style of a tarantella. In piano music, it refers to a fast, lively piece, and it was inspired by the traditional Italian folk dance that originated in southern Italy. It was traditionally believed to cure the bite of a tarantula through frenzied dance music, hence the name tarantella. So if you see a title tarantella on a piano piece, you can expect speed and sparkle. The key features of a tarantella are a fast and lively tempo, usually a 6/8 or a 3/8. And there's often fast scale passages and challenging finger work. And it has a dance-like character, so it often alternates between light, playful sections and more dramatic, driving ones. Let's first talk about rhythm. This is marked vivace, which is a fast and lively piece. The time signature, remember that the bottom number tells us what kind of note gets one count. So the 8 on the bottom stands for an eighth note. So eighth notes are getting one beat, 16th notes are getting a half, quarter notes are getting 2 counts, dotted quarter notes are getting 3, and dotted half notes are getting 6. As with most pieces, I recommend that you start the first day hands separate, counting out loud, and try to pay attention to the articulation markings and the fingering. Do all of the details because you're creating habits every time you play. So go slow enough that you can observe all the details. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You will see a lot of dotted eighth rests in this piece. Remember, an eighth note and an eighth rest gets 1 count because of the 8 on the bottom of the time signature. A dot to the side of a note or rest gets half the value of the note or rest before it. So if the eighth rest gets 1 count, then the dot gets a half of a count for a total of 1.5 counts. So how do you count 1.5 counts? I'm going to show you bar 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you can see how I'm coming off for the rest, and then the 16th note goes in between the third and the fourth count. There's some dotted quarter rests also in this piece. Quarter notes and quarter rests are getting 2 beats, so the dot would get 1 count for a total of 3 counts on the dotted quarter rests. A lot of students struggle with the introduction of this piece, bars 1 through 8, because of the ties and the double stem notes. As I play this part, pay attention to which notes I'm holding and how long I'm holding them for. You want to make sure you're holding the dotted half notes and the ties. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. With a lot of hand separate practice, this will get easier. It's always tough in the beginning, especially when you're first starting to put its hands together. Let's talk a little bit more about articulation in this piece. You'll notice slurs and staccatos, and the right hand is primarily legato throughout. Be on the lookout for dotted quarter notes versus staccatos. It's easy to get those mixed up in this piece. So when you see a dot to the right of a note, that means to hold it longer. And if you see a dot above or below the note head, that's a staccato. Notice on this part which notes I'm holding and which notes I'm playing staccato. When you get to bar 33, you'll notice some dotted quarter notes with staccatos. So this is a great place to add pedal. Do the staccatos, lift your hands, but hold the pedal so that the octaves get held for the full value. Then off, on. At bar 45, you're going to notice continuous dotted quarter notes. In my edition, there's staccato markings only on the octaves. So I'm lifting, then holding, lifting, holding, and I'm changing the pedal with each chord change. So down, change, down, change, change, off. In the edition you're seeing on the screen, it has staccato markings for all of the dotted quarter notes, but I think this is a nice contrast in the articulations by just doing the staccatos on the octaves. While we're on the topic of pedaling, the only other place I would use the damper pedal is on the last line with these sforzando markings. Sforzandos are accents, sudden strong accents. So adding the pedal here will add a little more oomph to those accents. So touch the pedal and then come off for the rest. It's just to add a little bit more oomph. Once you can play hand separate easily, counting out loud, observing all of the details like the slurs and the staccatos, then start hands together. And I recommend that you break this piece up into smaller sections. So figure out where the phrase endings are and then mark it with your pencil. And practice each section like right hand, left hand, and then hands together a few times slowly. Make sure that you're still counting when you start hands together. And this can be a little bit difficult. So you could try to use a counting metronome app. I like to use SpeakBeat. So this is at 120.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
So it's easier to pay attention to all of the details hands together when you're not having to count too. So you could try that. And once you can play perfectly at that speed, that was at 120, then gradually move the numbers up by like 5s or 10s. But just make sure you get it perfect at each number before you move it up. Once you get it to around 200, that's a great time to transition to the metronome ticking for 2 beats. The reason that you want to do this is a fast 6/8 time signature should be felt in 2 pulses. So I get to here. This left hand happens on beats 1 and 4. So that's why we want to practice it with the metronome ticking for 2 beats per measure. So I'm going to start back at 50, around 50 here. And SpeakBeat metronome also transitions to just a ticking noise here. So this is, the beats are falling on beats 1 and 4. And if you're struggling to stay with the metronome like this, you can continue to count out loud for a little bit and make sure that the ticks are falling on beats 1 and 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3. And same thing with this. Once you get it good at 50, and then start working the numbers up by 5s or 10s. It may take a little time to get used to the metronome ticking 2 beats per measure, but give yourself time and enough practice and you'll eventually be able to get it. Once you can play the piece clean at 50, metronome ticking 2 beats per measure, then you can start moving the numbers up, but just don't play too fast too soon because you'll probably play this sloppily and you probably will miss a lot of the details. So I recommend that you get it perfect at 50 before moving it to 55, and then get it perfect at 55 before you move it to 60, and so forth. This piece again is marked vivace, which is one of our fastest tempos in music, and this edition recommends 163 for dotted quarter notes. I'll play a little bit of that. Pretty fast, but don't let that intimidate you. If you stick with a piece long enough and you know the notes really well, you'll be surprised at how fast you can play it. Another tip that will help you gain speed is to play lighter. It's hard to play fast and loud and heavy, so be conscious about tension too. Try to keep your body relaxed. And the first half of the piece, the right hand, the fast runs, is usually marked piano and mezzo forte. So don't work too hard on the first half of the page or the first half of the piece. Just save your energy for the last page where you see the forte and the fortissimo markings and the sforzandos. You may be wondering how to make this piece expressive and exciting and not too metronomic. It is important to practice with the metronome a lot because most students struggle to keep this piece even and maintain a steady tempo. So if you practice with the metronome a lot, then eventually you'll be able to turn it off and you'll be able to maintain that evenness and the steady tempo. That being said, you do need to turn the metronome off sometimes and practice without it so that you can work on musicality and the phrasing. I'd love to show you a few ideas. On bars 1 through 8, this is a complete phrase. So I like to think about bars 1 through 4 as a question and then bars 5 through 8 as the answer. So on bars 1 through 4, I'm going to push towards the B. And then bars 5 through 8, I push towards the G. Dynamics really help shape this introduction, the phrase. So you don't want to just play flat and piano. That'd be really boring. So listen to my dynamics and my phrasing here. Bars 9 through 12 are the same notes as bars 13 through 16. So it's nice to play piano at bars 13 through 16 to add an echo effect. So. Then at bar 17 through 25, this theme happens many times throughout the piece. Think about pushing towards the highest note of these crescendos here. That helps to keep it from sounding too steady here. Then here on this longer run, push towards the end of the slur marking. At bars 33 through 45, listen to how I'm pushing towards the last note of the slur. Then here, I'm going to push towards the phrase ending, which is the first chord of bar 53. The last page is mostly repeated material from the first couple of pages, but notice the forte markings and the crescendos and the accents and the sforzandos. This is the biggest part of the piece, so we want to play louder. But don't start the crescendos too loud, otherwise we won't be able to notice them. So think about starting the crescendos at mezzo forte. Same thing here on this crescendo, start at mezzo forte. Remember to touch the pedal on those sforzandos for a little more oomph. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions about this piece. I hope this has been helpful and that you're excited to work on this fun tarantella. Make sure to watch this next video of mine where I perform this piece from beginning to end. I'll see you soon.